Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me again. This is my 12th and final video in this series that I called The Right Mind. And I just wanted to thank all of you who have stayed with me. As you can tell, these videos built on each other. And in this final video, I just want to wrap up this entire conversation around mind. And now we're at this point of the teachings that are given to us by this source or God. And how do we judge these teachings? How do we find out if they're true? How do we know and allow it to resonate in us? Because if it doesn't, you won't follow it. So what's the criteria that we need to utilize to realize if these teachings, if these truths are in fact correct? And there's really three items that we really need to look at. And one of them is we spoke about is what has been handed down, what has stayed alive for 2,500 years, 3,000 years, 2,000 years. Teachings that have not lost their essence. And people, billions of people, still follow these teachings. That's one criteria. These were teachings offered to us by what I call the giants that walked prior to us and left these teachings for us to help us navigate our lives so that we can find not just right mind, but enjoy a prosperous and happy life, a purposeful life. So that's the first criteria. The second criteria is these teachings that came and were given to us always had the element of something that was beyond ordinary people, which like miracles happened. It's beyond science. When things like that happen that ordinary people can't or science can't comprehend, you have a clue that it's coming from another place. And that's a second criteria. The third criteria is they must be logical. It has to be logical. We're asked, just believe, just believe. That's very difficult to follow if it's not logical. The teaching must be logical. It must make sense. It must be able to stand up against the intellect and reasoning of man. And when it meets those three criteria, I think you're onto something that may have some substance, that may have the ability to guide your life, maybe activate your own internal GPS to help you navigate this life for a happy life, for good decisions that end up being, helping you to grow in this life. So once we find these three criteria, we recognize them, they make sense to us, then we need to make an internal decision to follow them. You have the teachings, now you must cultivate yourself. When you find these teachings and they resonate in you, then you have to cultivate, you have to align, you have to make an internal decision to follow them and practice them. And when that knowledge and your practice come together, that's where we have magic, wisdom. Wisdom is born. And you will start to realize there's a lot of this about. This is what law of attraction is all about. You will start to attract the goodness of the universe because you are emanating a broadcast, a signal that allows universe to find you. When your mind gets in alignment, when your knowledge, when your wisdom is aligned with your practice and you cultivate yourself and you bring that together, I'm telling you, hold on. That's where the good things start to take place. That's where personal happiness, that's where you start to see the world as beautiful and you want to help the world. That's when your personal happiness becomes public happiness, because that's what you're going to emanate and people are going to see. I mean, what I'm saying here is not an overnight practice. This is a day-to-day steps. As the name of my channel, One Step Forward. It's a slow process, but you know, anything that's worth its weight takes time. And I'm telling you, please, this is worth its time. I've been at this for about 10 years, this right mind, and I love it. It fascinates me, and I live by it. But I'm not perfect. By no means am I perfect. And all I'm asking you is to take one step forward. Keep going forward. Align yourself with the teachings. Align yourself. Make that internal decision. You have to make that internal decision to align yourself and follow it. This is not a Sunday thing only. This is day to day, your waking hours. You will slip away. I guarantee it's going to happen. You come back and come back and come back. So I hope this makes sense. Thank you again for being with me in these 12 videos. They do progress on each other. Please start at one and get through, and then you will come to realize the magnificence of this vehicle and the laws that we need to follow so that we can have personal happiness, public happiness, and change this world. Thank you very much. I hope that makes sense. In our next video, in my next series, we're going to start about the mind and being able to deal with the worries that get into us in financially, our relationships, etc. So I hope you'll join me. Take care. Have a good day. Have a good month. And please subscribe. That would be great. And I'd love to have some questions. Most of all, I'd love to have some dialogue. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.